Okay, Night of Champions, where every belt is on the line. And currently on the website, every belt is on the line, with the exception of the Women's Championship, which I guess will probably be Michelle McCool versus Melina. So I guess for the women's title, everyone, Women's and Divas Championship, they all begin with M. Really nothing to that, but we'll go through it all one by one. Okay. Maryse, or Maris, and I want to look at it, versus Mickie James for the Divas Championship belt. It'd be awesome if Mickie James win this, so she could be the second woman to ever hold both belts. But, you know, Maris not holding the title, what was she really going to do? She was brought up as a champion. And she hasn't really done much more beyond be the champion. And be the, object of the Miz's affection. So I almost look for Maris to retain, because they got to drag it out somehow. Because if you had Mickie James win, what, you going to have her feud with Beth Phoenix? Raw Women's Division, kind of meh. So much to keep it on Maris, she's your best bet for a decent heel. Okay, Unified Tag Team. Jericho and Mystery Partner versus Legacy. I've read, Dolph Ziggler as his mystery partner. So people go, it'd be awesome if it was Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Kennedy, because that was all a work. And to be honest, do I see Legacy winning the belt? No, not really. I think you put Jericho on both shows, because, that way he can do mid-card feud. And he can do, lower main event feud. Jericho on all three shows does a better job than DiBiase and Rose on all three shows. Now, maybe what they'll do is they'll throw in another tag team. It'd be great to see them do this as a triple threat match and throw in Hart Dynasty. Hart Dynasty on all shows would work. So, if it doesn't go three-way with the Hart Dynasty, I will go with Jericho. Dreamer Christian. Dreamer's kind of on borrowed time now. Because isn't this kind of expired after Extreme Rules? So, I'd like to see the belt go on to Christian. Not knocking Tommy Dreamer, he's done a lot of great stuff in original ECW and for WWE ECW, but it's time for me, drop the belt and then just, retire. He's done a lot, it's his time to essentially, lead the industry. There's really not a whole lot more he can do. He'd be a great road agent, but he really shouldn't be in the ring anymore. Six-pack challenge. Kofi, Show, MVP, Carlito, Swagger, Miz. This one is interesting. Really interesting, okay. Does the MVP Swagger feud need a title? No. Does Carlito Primo need a title? No. So that takes out, one half of that whole group right there. Kofi. Kofi's feuding currently with the Big Show. Kofi, Big Show need the title to make it more interesting? No. Which leaves The Miz. If The Miz wins single gold, they'll finally have him and Maris actually probably hook up, which will be entertaining. So I'm going to go with The Miz. Mysterio versus Ziggler. I know they really want to push Ziggler. I have no idea why. The guy looks good, but his in-ring is crappy, to say the least. If Ziggler ends up being Jericho's partner, I could see Jericho getting involved to cost Mysterio the match. I could also see Jericho getting involved to cost Mysterio the match, so Ziggler wins, and then Ziggler goes on to be his tag team championship partner. But if Jericho doesn't get involved somehow, I look for Mysterio to retain. Punk Hardy. This is a fantastic feud. The Punk heel turn is great. It's a beautiful heel turn. I've never been suspended. What's going? I don't need drugs to be awesome. You do. You know what? I'm better than the fans. 'Cause I don't use drugs. I don't drink. You know what? That is very solid. I'm better than you heel work. Beautiful. It works. And you know what? Punk, good in ring work. You know, he actually deserves that spot as a champion. That being said, Hardy more or less has a contract till maybe till SummerSlam. So I look for Punk to retain this one. And you know what? I like to see him win it clean. Because so far, you know, he beat Hardy after the ladder match. Then, you know, he got DQ'd to retain the title. I like to see him get, you know, a nice clean victory from a heel. Maybe it makes a nice, good break point for the story as opposed to, you know, retaining by DQ. So I look for Punk to retain. Like to see him win. Triple threat match. Just like what we saw at WrestleMania. When the three of them finally got together. The promo they did on Monday, which was just like, you know, Seth Green, he's like, let's see, Hobbit. What's a Hobbit? You know, little dude, you know, fuzzy feet. I didn't get to see his feet. You know, threw a nice, decent amount of comedy into that, and then they build up slowly into the, you know what, we'll do a 3-handed handicap match. No problem at all. Now, triple threat match. H doesn't really need the title. Cena, again, doesn't really need the title. Orton needs that title to be a viable heel. Orton needs to have that belt on his waist. Don't anybody care about him. If Orton is not champion, I mean, he has to be champion. He has to come out of this match, you know, retaining the title somehow. I look for both H and Cena to look really strong, and Orton to just out of nowhere score a pinfall on one of them. Because they need to do something with that feud to keep the belt on Orton. It'll be like their match at WrestleMania, where, you know, H did all the hard work, so did Cena. Orton's out of nowhere, you know, quick, couple moves, score a pinfall on somebody else, and beat with someone's finisher. Done. So, that being said, do I picture titles actually changing hands? I picture Maurice retaining. I think Jericho should retain because he does a better job than DiBiase and Rhodes. I know they're trying to push DiBiase and Rhodes, but I really don't want to see those guys on the other two shows. Christian, new ECW champ. Miz, new US champ. IC belt, might keep that on Mysterio. Unless you're going to have Mysterio lose and start feuding with Punk for the title, which is money. I picture that probably head more towards SummerSlam than happening now. Punk retaining, Orton retaining. And with that, I am done.